All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm excited for this one. One of my favorite bands I remember from the MySpace days, man. It's been a while. Finally reached out to them and just decided to come on the show. This is Danny Bohnen. I told you I was going to fuck it up.
That's good. Close enough, man. Hey.
Danny Bohnen. He is from the band Pulsite at the Flamingo. If you've never heard of them, go check them out. They kick ass. They're raw. They're fucking rugged. And yeah, man, Danny, thank you for showing up today, brother.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure. Yeah, it's been doing it a long time. MySpace days. That's true.
Bro, I was gonna ask you, what is one key difference that you see from like that time during MySpace and today's world? Like, I would assume MySpace, because I mean, dude, there was so much music around and it was so easy to get your shit across. Well, what's one big difference that you see?
It was, man. I mean, we used to book tours on MySpace. No one had a website. They just had a MySpace. That's all you needed back then, you know? So, I mean, the difference now there is that, yeah, I don't think there's a tool that equals the power of MySpace for bands these days. You know, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, but they just don't work the same. They don't showcase what you have quite as well. You know, you could have your album on there. You could have songs on there, and the biggest thing was the booking ability, though. I'm serious. I don't know if a lot of people thought about this or even knew about it, but back in the MySpace days, you could easily search like bands in a certain city, right? You could just pull up deathcore bands in Chicago, and it would just give you a list of bands that had MySpace profiles in Chicago. And there's really nothing like that. Like, you can try to do that on Facebook, but it has all these garbled results. It just doesn't work very well. And you used to be able to reach out right there and just put shows together. Back in the day, we used to, if we didn't have a show on one night while we were on tour, we would just enter a city, search bands in that city, and be like, yo, can we come jam with you guys? Invite your friends. And that happened like 2 or 3 times.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in a band, but I just remember it was so easy to find bands, and like, I started listening to this, and it would give you suggestions, and it would just lead you down the rabbit hole on so many like hardcore bands, grindcore, you know, metal, all the cores.
All the cores.
Yeah, I always get all like tired of like, you know, people that are like the specialists. No, that's this, because like, come on, bro. Just
I don't know,
enjoy the
man.
music.
I put slam, grindcore, deathcore in our bios usually because take your pick. I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, it's amazing music. I love it, man. Especially you know, that EP you dropped with the 4 tracks. I always mess up that name too.
Acabadora.
Acabadora.
Yeah.
And dude, sickening. And who were those kids, by the way? Were those y'all's kids?
Those were our kids. Yep.
Okay, nice. I was wondering. I was like, whose kids are these? Are they just random kids, or are they theirs?
Yeah,
I assume they were yours.
Dadcore to its fullest. If you guys didn't see it, we made a video, and it goes back and forth between us jamming out and our kids jamming out on toy instruments.
And do your kids like a lot of the music that you make, or just the music you listen to?
All.
I know, bro. I just, dude.
I shouldn't say not at all. I've tried to get my kids into it a little bit. They're only 7 and almost 10, 7 and 9 years old, and they just don't have an ear for it yet. My son has a little drum kit upstairs, and you know, hopefully, I have high hopes that they will get into it as they get older.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I try to play some for my kids, and my son's too busy listening to brain rot and stupid shit like that. And I'm like, really? This is what you're talking about? And my daughter, you know, she's all into the Disney stuff. But I'll show them some like hardcore metal, you know, As I Lay Dying, Between the Buried and Me, or whatever it may be, and they'll jam out to it, but they never like request it. So I'm like, I'm hoping later in life that comes along.
I do,
but,
yeah, man, that'd be nice.
But dude, I have one of the things I want to say is I love your name, the band name, because I'm a big Hunter S. Thompson fan. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I even have the tattoo. I have it right here. Too weird to live, too rare to die.
Oh yeah, man, hell yeah, I love it.
One of my favorite lines in the whole book and the whole movie, man. I love that. So y'all were just sitting around, and one of your, you said it was your bassist, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, our old bassist at the time. Sort of, I credit him to the name. My brother doesn't remember it the same way sometimes. My brother's our singer, by the way. Yeah, man. We were into that movie at the time. We just loved that movie, and we had been trying to rename our band. We used to be called Out for Blood. And you can still, I actually put the old albums up on streaming a while back. You can find them out there. But we just were running into all these issues with names already existing and being taken relating to death, doom, anything dark, or that a normal band would name themselves in our genre. And it was that time where you had Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, you had I Wrestled a Bear once, you had See You Next Tuesday. I mean, there were a lot of ridiculous band names out there, and so
yeah, that Tony Danza, I remember, oh dude, they're so sick.
Yeah, sick as hell, man. We played a couple times with them. They stayed at my parents' house a couple times. It was,
oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's great, dude. I used to love them. I don't know. I think, dude, what's crazy is I see a lot of kids nowadays with those shirts on. And I'm like, do you even know who the fuck that is?
They made a comeback, man. They played Furnace Fest this last year, and they made like a little comeback. I don't know what they're doing literally right now because I haven't heard from them in a while. But it's like last year they made a little comeback. They released some music. They played some shows. It was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of that old 2000s music is making a big comeback, and it's amazing to see it.
Genre, man. It's a whole deathcore revival, MySpace deathcore revival. All these young kids. I don't know if we just got back from a tour a week ago, and it was our first time out for an extended period of time for a while, and actually our first time in SoCal like ever. We've never played San Diego and Los Angeles before, and so. We went out with some young dudes in a band called Katie Went Missing, who's pretty sick. And if you listen to them, they sound exactly like straight out of early 2000s MySpace deathcore. And then a lot of the bands we played with on that tour, they were all probably kids anywhere from 18 to 24 years old or even younger. The average, like the kids at the shows were 14 to 22 years old. It was nuts. And just tons of them packed in and energy for days. And all the bands that we played with were actually really good, but also played that like Job for a Cowboy style, old Suicide Silence, all this old deathcore that's coming back. You know,
man.
Yeah.
I remember when Job for a Cowboy first came out, and that one song where he just throws that crazy scream and that little breakdown moment. And it was like, who the fuck are these guys? And they were like 17 at the time when they pulled out that album. They were still like in high school from what I remember. And I was like,
yeah, I remember
the
that
hell
too. This is crazy, man.
Yeah. Are they still around?
They are, I believe. I think they're playing shows. I think they are doing little shows and tours here and there. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't kept up with them. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I love their stuff. Suicide Silence is incredible, of course. Yeah. Unfortunately with Mitch, I mean that sucks, but
I know,
still,
and I think they've just gone downhill. They still make cool music, but I'm just not as into it as their early. I don't think anyone is. I don't know anyone that likes Suicide Silence more now than they did back then.
I totally agree. I think one of my favorite moments from them is when they covered 7 Words from Deftones. Yeah, what a sick cover that they did, bro. I loved it. It was so good.
Man, it was good. But yeah, it was crazy, man. We went out and like that sound is coming back, and it's almost a whole scene that I didn't know existed. These bands we're playing with, tons of. I mean, we played in LA to like 500 people, and these kids were there was no safe spot in the room. It was the most violent shows we've ever played. Now, it's as violent as like a wiry 16-year-old can be. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
they're killing it. They're throwing down. They're crowd killing. We played some sick ass shows, and a lot of these bands are bringing it back. So actually, we're looking at like hitting the road for a little bit again, and like before the end of the year, then probably maybe East Coast next year. And I'm all about touring with these young deathcore revival bands. The crowds are crazy. They're awesome. The bands are cool. The kids are cool. It's great, man.
Well, if you ever come to San Antonio or Austin, man, let me know. We'll definitely meet y'all down there.
Yeah,
that's where we're at. I know, and I saw in one of your interviews you're a big Whataburger guy.
Yeah, I mean, well, when we're on the road, you know, we don't have them here. Well, that's a lie. We don't have them where I live in Colorado, which is north of Denver, like Longmont area. But they do have them in Colorado Springs, so we'll eat down there every now and then. And I'm not a big fast food guy, but if we're on the road, you got to eat something that you don't have at home, you know. So
Oh,
that's
for
where it
sure.
comes from.
Oh man, these here at Whataburger's like sacred ground, bro. They fucking it gets crazy the cult of personality that it has, and I'm always like, it's good, but I don't know if it's that good. You know, the way
Yeah,
people make it sound.
I'm in the same boat. It's not amazing, but I'm like, all right, they're open late at least. It's a good option.
Yeah, for sure. There's always a debate here now in Texas because we have In-N-Outs here now, so it's always like the In-N-Out and the Whataburger crowds always fighting with each other.
Yeah,
It's kind of
what do you go for? What's your favorite?
I mean, if I'm gonna best burgers, I would say like fast food, not like you know, these little mom and pop shops that are way better. Whataburger, yeah, I would say that Whataburger or Burger Boy. Burger Boy is pretty good. They have a lot of like these little restaurant style now that are way like, of course they're good as hell. But yeah, for fast food, I would go with that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't go to In-N-Out too much, but it's kind of far away from me. But I still liked it when I lived in San Diego. So it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. All right.
So I do have a question. You are still independent, and what are some of the major challenges of being an independent band like that?
Yeah, we're still independent because we honestly haven't really had to field any offers. Maybe a couple here and there. We're so like sporadic with how active we are. We were super active, obviously, back in the day. Toured a lot from like 2006 to 2009. Had like a little bit of a falling out with some members, and we were just on a hiatus for a long time. Made like a little bit of a comeback some years later. Did a couple weekenders. Went dark again, and then really only in the last 4 or 5 years have we been releasing music again and playing shows, but even then not at a good pace, you know. And so I don't think we've been active enough throughout our history to warrant a label coming to us and being like, you guys should you know, we want to represent you, we want to put you on tour. Lately we are starting to tour now more, just because it's fun and our kids are getting a little bit older, but it's still an issue with responsibilities and family life and everything like that. So we're even talking about figuring out a way to bring the families with the 2 vans and multiple hotel rooms and
Damn.
yeah, seeing how that works out. But we'll see about that and get to that. But yeah, it's been, you know, these days, I mean, an album is there, or sorry, like a label can do a lot, right? They can put you on tour, they can get you distribution, but I don't know if you need it for distribution. If you're good enough at getting your own artwork and uploading your shit to DistroKid and then promoting it, then you're good. What my philosophy on it these days is, if a band wants to sort of quote unquote make it in the genre, then sure, a label could help, like getting discovered, whatever. But I just think touring, like if you just go tour a lot, you're good. You have to be like good. Then you're gonna get fans. Like people are gonna come to these shows, even if it's a little bit of people at first. If you just keep doing it, you probably don't need a label if you just build up a fan base that way, you know. So.
And what platform would you say gives you the most like traffic? Like, is it TikTok, Instagram, Facebook?
I mean, Instagram is our main, I would say. We don't really use TikTok. Maybe we should. We just don't get enough video content at all times to be uploading to TikTok. I think if we toured a lot, if we were on tour like all the time, we could take clips and we could post them to TikTok and we could gain a lot of following there. But Instagram seems to be where everyone's at and what's best for the content that we do have, which is like photos every night that we play, and we take a photographer with us. You have reels there too, so I think that's the best. Yeah.
I would ask. I know that where it's not non-identical twin brother is the singer. Yeah. How does that dynamic go? Because I mean, man, you and your brother together in a band, I bet that's awesome, but it's also a blessing and a curse at the same time. And do y'all fight a lot or get into it a lot?
Not really, man. So yeah, he's my twin brother. We're not identical. We don't look alike. So you probably wouldn't even think we were brothers. we actually do everything together. We have a business together. That's how we make money. We have the band together. Our kids are similar ages and hang out all the time. Our wives are best friends. Like everything. So we have this relationship that we know each other so well, and we don't really have disagreements that aren't solved pretty quickly. I tend to. He's so easygoing in everything that we do, whether it's business, the band, whatever, that he sort of just goes along with the flow and is cool with whatever I want to do. But he'll have certain opinions that he's strong about and certain ideas that really work out well and help us out. So not that he doesn't provide anything, but he's so easygoing that it's like, he's down with whatever.
That's awesome, and you can experience all that with them. And your business, you don't need to tell me like everything about it, but does it deal with music, or is it totally different?
Not really, but a little bit. It still deals with art. Actually, if anyone wants to check it out, we don't ever publicly talk about it or push it from a personal thing, but we run a site called legendarywallart.com, and we partner with artists and photographers, and we feature their art on like canvas and framed prints and things like that. We have a warehouse we partner with that builds them to our specs, super high quality. And so it's an e-com business that we run from our homes. And so, yeah, it's in the art space, right? It deals with art, but yeah, so we run that together. It's been along with a couple other people. So.
What's one of the things that you would say a lot of people get misunderstood with like people that listen to metal, right? Because I mean, I'm the same way, man. Our music's very aggressive, right? But to me, you go to a metal show, some of the nicest people on the planet. And what's one thing that like, do people freak out when you tell them what kind of music you do, or what's one misconception that you feel?
Yeah, it's weird, man, because in my brother and I's daily lives, and actually our bass player, his wife is really good friends with our wives too, and we met him and our wives are friends because my brother and I's parents own a dinner theater. So it's a small dinner theater in the hometown we come from. Completely opposite, right? They do shows like Annie and Sound of Music, and my mom is a voice and piano teacher. We grew up throwing metal shows at my parents' dinner theater. They let us move the tables and chairs out, and we would like have these metal shows back when we were in middle school, high school, and we created this little scene in the hometown where we're from. And so that's where most of our adult people surround. Like back in the day when we were in a band and everything, of course, all our friends were into that music too. And then we were surrounded by people that were like-minded as far as music goes. But these days, as a family life and business life, I don't interact with a ton of people that listen to the same kind of music that I do and even know who our band is or what we do. And so I think the misconception, first of all, is that, people that listen to that kind of music are aggressive and angry and have issues or something like that. I think that's changing because a new era of people are now adults like us that are, living normal lives and still listening to devil music, whatever you want to call it. And but I still do run into people on a daily basis that, oh, you're in a band? Oh, what's the name of your band? And oh, Pulsite the Flamingo. And that doesn't really give any warning signs. And oh, that sounds cool. I'll have to go check it out. And I'm like, yeah, it's not for everyone. I say that to everybody. Oh, it's not for everyone. Check it out. It might not be your cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Especially the older I got, the more I started just like really getting into just 90s alternative, like very soft, like, not hardcore music at all.
Yep,
but I still I need to get that frustration out every now and then, and just like, I need to.
I agree, man. I listen to a lot of 90s alternative too. And then a lot of this, deathcore, grind, hardcore. So I skip the middle ground a lot. I'm not a big like new metal fan. I don't really like cleans with screams that much. It's sort of like one or the other. I'm listening to Weezer or something, and then it jumps to like Peeling Flesh, or something.
Nice. Yeah, they're both great bands. What are some bands that are like just blowing your mind right now as of this moment? Like some of the new bands that are out there?
There are some, man. Like on a bigger level, Psycho Frame and is doing some amazing stuff. I really like Body Snatcher's new album they just released. Their drummer Chris runs Bad Rabbit Audio, and they actually do all the mixing and mastering for our latest release, This Overwhelming Horror, that just came out it fully came out at the end of last month, but we had singles released from it over the last almost year now. So they're doing some cool things. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else I'm playing a lot. Otherwise, some of these younger bands that are doing this deathcore revival are sick as fuck, and I'm starting to enter this rabbit hole now. These are bands like Mauled, Katie Went Missing, I Saw God, that we actually might be doing something with before the end of the year, Peacemaker, Nine Dead. A lot of these, they're just putting out this old school deathcore with a little bit of a modern twist that I'm all in, man. Like, I'm all in. I'm not as... There's obviously some, like, Synestia and that kind of side of metal that is just doing some jaw-dropping stuff where it's like, what is even going on inside the song right now? Like, they're going so slow, and these growls don't even sound human. And so I shout out that kind of stuff, too, but I'm more of, like, a simple breakdowns, deathcore kind of guy. Just give me like blast beats and breakdowns.
Yeah, and y'all definitely got a lot of those in your music, which I love, because it just hypes you up. Like, oh hell yeah! Especially when you hear that double bass pedal just
I know,
man. Going at it. It's fantastic. But yeah, man, what's some of the music that you listen to, a guilty pleasure, where you're like, oh man, nobody probably suspect that. That's kind of.
I'm a huge like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, okay.
I listen to a lot of crooner music, and it goes hand in hand because me and my brother both, and we have a group of friends, we like whiskey and we like cigars, and so.
Oh, that goes hand. Yeah, that's butter and jelly right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not alcoholics or anything, but we will, once every couple weeks, we'll sit around, have a cigar, drink some like fine whiskey, and turn on some Frank Sinatra.
Nice. I would say, like, in your younger days, were y'all like raging after shows, or was it just kind of like we just kind of chilled and ate somewhere and go to sleep kind of thing?
It's, we never really raged too hard. There was definitely a couple nights when we used to tour and we were younger, but we've been pretty chill all throughout. I will say things have changed over the years. Like when we used to tour a lot back in the day, and I was like 18, 19, 20 years old. You would just be on stage that night and say, hey, if anyone has a place for us to stay, let us know. And that's usually how we slept. It would be someone would always come up to us after the show. Oh, you guys can stay at my house. And there might be a party there that night. There might not be a party. And you might be sleeping on the floor, and it might not be so clean.
Did you ever have some like scary moments or like weird moments where you're like, oh, dude, this is a bad idea?
Not so much like we're in danger moments, but definitely some... We arrived, there's a mattress on the floor. I just saw a mouse scurry past. There's like rat shit everywhere.
Oh, shit.
And we're like,
I'd been like, I'm good, bro.
I think, and you don't want to be disrespectful, but I think there were once or twice where we're like, we're going to grab some food. We'll be right back. And then we just don't come back.
I'm not going to lie, man. If I was in your shoes at that age, like a young age, man, I'd probably be dead, because I would have just partied too hard. I would have just went hard.
Well, now that we're older and doing this again, we just got back from a 10-day run, and dude, all hotels pre-booked before the run, like have to be 3-star or up. So, and free breakfasts, like fitness centers. You know what I mean?
Totally different stuff. No, I mean, if it were to be like at this age, I'm 43, so I just turned 43 like a couple months ago. Yeah, definitely be different from when I was a kid. But when I like 19, 20, dude,
I know anything goes. You can sleep. You're comfortable anywhere, man. But I'm 40, and so I'm like, I'm a side sleeper. I need a bed. I
need a Tempur-Pedic.
Yeah.
So what would you say is one of the craziest tours you went on, or craziest bands that you perform with, that you're just like, God, those guys are fucking animals, man?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, honestly, this last 10-day run as a tour was one of the best ones we've ever been on. It's what opened my eyes to this like underground deathcore revival scene. And dude, I'm telling you, like, these kids, they just come out in droves, and they show up. The scenes are alive and well. And I don't even know if it's the same kids that are showing up to like the Acacia Strain and the Spites. I don't know. Some of them probably do, but I have a feeling that there's this little underground, not little really, but underground scene, these kids just raving fans coming out. So as a tour experience, this last one was really unique and awesome. It was probably some of the biggest crowds we've had and some of the highest energy I've ever seen. But as far as bands we played with, there was a couple back in the day that blew my mind as far as like what they did in a good or bad way. There's an old grind band from MySpace days called Tower of Rome, and a lot of people might remember them, but they came through on a last minute, one of those nights they didn't have a show booked, so we let them come to our jam space and just play with us. And we had like 20 friends there or something to watch, and those dudes threw down so hard in this little garage we were practicing in. I mean, they were like, the singer had like a scrape on his elbow. They were tripping over each other. It was nuts. And so that, as far as like weird shit to see, that was one of them. And then we didn't play this show, although we have played with them before. I went to a Psyopush show back in the day. They played at like a fully lit skate park, like indoor skate park. They played with Into the Moat and a couple other bands that were there. And the drummer like took his shirt off or something as in between songs, and the audience was like, get naked. And he like took his pants off, and they were like, oh, and we were just like, oh, funny. And then they kept on so he fucking got naked, and then someone like threw a condom at him, and he literally put the condom on and was playing drums. Like, obviously we weren't up there looking close up, but he like had it. He like went down. He like stood up. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Well, he must have been confident because
yeah, man, it was
just drumming with cock flying around everywhere.
Oh, dude, seriously, it was crazy. It was fucking crazy.
That's fucking nuts. Damn, that's cool, man. I remember, I used to love like those festivals where you have like a band playing and there's people skateboarding on the other side and all these kind of things going on. What's one of the biggest festivals that y'all played that you would say?
We a couple years in a row we went out to Full Terror Assault, which is like a big outdoor festival in the middle of nowhere in Illinois. They have a little bit more, I don't know what you call it, like old guy metal bands playing. They had Max Cavalera there the last time we were there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and his band, I forgot what it's called now. I think it's just called like Cavalera or something these days.
I forgot what it is now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know you're talking about.
And they'll have like Jungle Rot and Necrot and that band Prison was there when we were there last time. So it was just a little Municipal Waste, like some of these thrash bands that were older. But there was tons of people there, and it's a big outdoor fest. People camp. So as far as like sheer amount of people, maybe that might have been the biggest one. But we haven't played like a lot of fests really. Most of our show playing and touring was early on back in the MySpace days. We played a lot of basements and house shows and strip mall venues that were just thrown up out of nowhere. A lot of just raw, like crazy shows like that.
Hey, what is your like right before you walk on stage? What does that look like with y'all? Are y'all together as a 4-piece, or are y'all kind of in your own modes?
Yeah, it's pretty. We don't really have a ritual. We just fucking like, yeah. There's nothing to it, man. It's nothing sacred, nothing special. We just are doing our own thing, and we just sort of all. Oh, is that band done? Then we all sort of give each other a look, and yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get the fuck on there. Yeah, no, what about you? Like, what's the mindset that you're in?
I would say I'm probably the most flustered because I we have a rack set up and a laptop. Now that's changed. We didn't have all this shit back in the day. That's a big thing that has changed in music and playing live and bands. Is just the technology surrounding not only live performances but recording and the ability to track songs at your house now, and all that has changed drastically, obviously. But I'm the one that when we're playing, I gotta make sure everything is hooked up. I gotta make sure the laptop's set. I gotta make sure the wirelesses are working and the mixer's on and everything. So it's a lot of just check marks I have to go through in my head to make sure everything's working right. It's after being out a few times with all that equipment now, and this 10 days we just did, it did get down to a rhythm where I wasn't so worried about it. But there's a little bit of anxiety, not crippling or anything like that, but just like, oh fuck, all right, do we got everything? Is everything cool? And it depends on how they let you set up. Like this last run we just did, we pretty much backlined our cabs the whole time. And a lot of the time, I just had our rack pre-set up in the background and it didn't have to move or anything. So that was nice to be able to do that. But yeah, I would say I get a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of nerves, but nothing that I'm not used to, you know?
Just kind of.
I will say what's sort of a pre-show ritual. It's not right before we play, but lately we've done like 3 tours in the last year and a half or so at this old age now and everything. And what we like to do is get there on time or early, load out. If there's a sound check, we'll do our sound check, make sure everything's good, make sure merch is there. And usually that leaves maybe an hour and a half before the doors open then. And we as a band just go like find a nice place to eat, like an Irish pub, or like we'll ask the sound guy, we'll be like, dude, like what's the best brewery to go to? What's the best fucking Mexican restaurant? Like, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I would assume it, and that's what I was gonna ask you next. When y'all go to like a new city or something, what do y'all usually just go in your hotel and just chill, or are you going out and seeing the sights, or what do y'all do on a normal day like that?
Lately, the runs we've been doing don't really afford us much time. We've been doing Northwest to West Coast to West, and so a lot of those drives are daily. You're looking at 4 to 7 hours sometimes, and so a lot of times, man, to be honest, we wake up, we leave, and then we just get there in time for load in, and we're at the venue, and that's pretty much it. We can hopefully walk to like a nearby restaurant or drive a couple minutes away, and that's about it. But so we don't get to do a lot of sightseeing lately. A couple times that we do get to town early, we'll see if there's something to do. For example, like we just went from San Diego to LA, and our drummer, we had to stop by Slush Cult, which is like a fingerboard company. He's like all into fingerboarding. And so,
I know so many people are so good at it too. I see them and they have like little half pipes and shit. And I'm like,
man, he bought like an obstacle. He bought like a ledge with a rail, and he bought
an obstacle.
Yeah, we had to go by Slush Cult, so that was a mandatory. It was like right off the highway, and it was cool. It was a good thing too, because we actually stopped in an alleyway and got some sick ass band pictures. There was all graffitied everywhere and everything, and then randomly while we were taking band pictures, right across the alleyway is standing Tito Ortiz in a suit with like with someone else and a cameraman. So they must have been filming a little promo for some reason in this little area. I don't know why they were there, but I was like, that's fucking Tito Ortiz right there.
That's awesome, bro. That would be sick. I know I've a couple times when I went to Vegas, I've seen a couple of UFC fighters, but not too many. Yeah. I've always wanted to run into this Nate Diaz, but very respectfully, because he'll probably fucking choke me out.
I know, it seems like he's unstable.
Yeah, he's very unstable, that guy. I mean, legend in his own right. Are you a big UFC guy?
You know, I used to be. So another weird fact about me is I fought MMA as an amateur for just a very short period of time. And I started training like back in, I don't know what year that was, probably like 2009 or something, 2008, and trained for like 7 years and did the whole competed and all that shit. And so during that time period, I was really into it. I was like keeping up on all the contenders and the champions, and you know, that's when like GSP and like BJ Penn were fighting. And so since then, I just don't pay as much attention these days, honestly.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's like what's his name, Alex the Terrible, right, from Slaughter to Prevail. Yeah. He's a bare knuckle fighter now. Yeah, fucking crazy. Psycho, bro. That dude's a crazy motherfucker.
Dude,
and man, that's wild. So
as I get older, when I was younger, again, when I used to do it, I don't know if I had something to prove, or it was also fun. There's a lot of camaraderie there with your guys you spar with and the teammates at the gym. But ultimately, I'm sort of like, why are we just beating each other up for no reason? Like, what?
It's gladiators.
Like, what's going on here? You know,
that could lead to injury. What are we doing here?
Yeah, as my kids, as I said, are like 7 and 9. I did think it was really important for them to learn Jiu-Jitsu at a minimum, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just for self-defense and confidence. And so I did get them started when they were like 5, and that caused me to go back with them to just as recreationally a couple times a week hit a class, and so I've been doing that again for a couple of years now. And but I feel it, man. It's like I can't roll like I used to. I don't have the energy like I used to, and you get hurt a lot easier.
No, I'm the same way. I want to put my kids. I have a 7 and a 4-year-old, so I'm like, I need to put them in jiu-jitsu or something, because you want them to be able to protect themselves and know how to, because they say 80% of fights go to the ground.
Ground, man,
you're gonna have to know how to do some groundwork.
And I think for me, as for my boy, anyways, I just think it's more about confidence. I don't know if he'll ever get in a fight, but he'll at least always know that he could handle himself and he's confident and all that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you just exactly. I don't want my kids to ever fight, but I mean, if they do, know how to do it, know how to do it the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you have an actual fight, or you just sparred and kind of trained?
No, I did. I had a few. You could probably. I don't know if there's any pictures out there or not, but I had a winning record. I only did a few and then stopped. I won all 3, and I just.
Oh damn! So you were good.
I wasn't bad. I trained for like a long time without fighting, and then finally at the end of my stint, I did a few fights, and then that was it. Then there was like a big falling out at the gym I went to with our current coach, with the coach, and a couple of the other fighters, and we all sort of scrambled to find new gyms, and I fell out of it at the time. Had kids shortly after, and yeah.
And how did you win? Knockouts or submissions?
Triangle was triangle choke, TKO. And then by decision, yeah. So
and you were in the band during this time period as well, right?
Yeah, although we were like I think this was one of our big hiatuses. Like we weren't doing shit really, honestly. It was like we might have been at that time. There might have been a period of time during that like 7-8 years where we played a couple shows or something like that, or jammed a handful of times, but we weren't releasing music. We weren't like really doing it hardcore at that time. Yeah.
So if I'm corrected, y'all are big horror fans, right? Is that correct?
Oh, huge horror fans, man.
Does that motivate a lot of your writing, or?
I mean, no? I don't know that it motivates the actual writing of riffs, but it definitely motivates the samples we use within our songs.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of
song names and such.
Yeah, I've seen like when you put like those samples, which is awesome, and I love it. Like it just leads into it, and it's like it just makes it. Yeah. All that hype, but
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are some of your favorite like horror movies? What are the classics for you?
Well, I mean, my favorite franchise ever is the Evil Dead franchise.
Evil Dead.
Yeah, I love the original Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. The original trilogy is amazing, and they just can't do any wrong by me. Some of the newer Evil Dead Rise was probably the worst thing they put out, but I still loved it. Ash vs. Evil Dead was awesome. So Evil Dead, besides that, my brother and I are just huge Shining fans. The Shining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. Stanley Kubrick, you can't go wrong. But we, a little known, well, it's not little known, but we actually, this has been on hiatus for a long time, but we run a horror podcast, actually.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called the Cult Classic Horror Show. We have like 300 some episodes. We did it for like 5 years, and now we've been doing it on and off. We haven't done an episode for like 4 months now or something, 3 months, but we did it religiously for a while, like weekly, and interview actors, directors, but mostly it was just us and 2 other guys, friends of ours, just talking about movies. We would pick one movie per episode. We go deep behind the scenes. I would buy like the Blu-ray with all the commentaries and stuff, and really research it, and we go deep behind the scenes, and we actually even we produced a couple horror movies too. So.
Oh, nice. Are they on YouTube?
Yeah, they're on. I think you're on Amazon, Tubi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my brother and I are also like wannabe actors as well. You can look us up. We're on IMDb. We're in a few films. We've worked with some pretty cool people and some names, but not in like we're not like famous or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You just worked with some cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I could tell you. I mean, I could see the podcast setup you got going on. It's not like a.
Yeah,
I
that's what
just
it's for. That's I have headphones here. I got the mic. I run that too whenever we happen to do it. So
and like, do you have any like what is some of the inspiration you get when you start writing? What are most of your songs about? What would you say?
I would say now I don't write any lyrics. My brother writes all the lyrics, but
Okay.
I will work with him to like, oh hey, we should do a scream here. We should do these syllables here. We should this is what I want the vocals to sound like. To me, and like in metal and our genre of music, I view the vocals as just its own instrument. I'm not a big lyric guy. I don't need to know the lyrics to every song that I listen to, and I don't really seek them out or anything like that. And so they could be talking about weird shit like Infinite Annihilator does, like murdering babies, and I wouldn't even know it. It's like, it's because I just view it as like an instrument. So the vocals are important, but it's just more for me how they sound. And so he writes some stuff now. We have that new one that came out. I know he has a song about his wife and their relationship and their love for each other. That's the gold in the gray. It's like the good stuff surrounded by some bad stuff sometimes. And but then sometimes we just have fun. Like we have a song called "Pool Closed Due to Violence," and it's just about
That's a good song, by the way.
yeah,
Fuck,
and it's just about a fictional pool party gone wrong and massacred. So,
yeah. That's all I was wondering. Like, if y'all get like you try to make your music sometimes like a horror kind of
yeah,
situation.
I would say
like
that most of our songs are more lighthearted and fictional than they are super deep and emotional for my brother. You know what I mean? A lot of our songs are just that. We have a song called "She Walks the Woods," and actually we have a film we made called "She Walks the Woods" that you can find on Tubi. It's a found footage handy cam up in the mountains, and all that song is about is a fictional creature roaming the woods, murdering people, So,
Nice. Do you direct and all that your own videos?
I don't direct. No,
Oh,
we
word.
have, one of the co-hosts on that horror podcast that we do is a writer director, and we've collaborated with him on a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so. But yeah, it's as far as like writing riffs though, I take a lot of, I guess, a lot of inspiration from other bands for sure. I don't claim to just completely come up with everything. I like to listen to bands, pick out parts that I like, sort of make them my own, mix them with other parts, mix them with totally original parts that I thought of. So I do gather a lot of inspiration by listening to other bands. But no matter, sometimes I try. Sometimes I'm like, I'm straight stealing this riff from this band, and we're gonna do it for such a short period of time that no one's gonna notice that I stole it. And for some reason, somehow, I don't know if it's my writing style or the literal way I play a guitar, I will be trying to steal that riff exact. And then I listen to it back, and it sounds just doesn't even sound like I stole it. It sounds similar, but it doesn't sound like I stole the riff. You know what I mean?
Nice. I would say because I know I don't want to take too much of your time. What are some bands that got you into this kind of music, like that started you in this path of like, fuck, I want to just play metal, whatever kind of core you want to call it. But what got you there?
It was a progression for sure, man. I mean, because I've been a huge music fan since I was in elementary school. I was the kid in 5th grade that, we would go on a field trip and the teacher would say, all right, no sports team shirts, no this or that. And Danny, no band shirts. Like they would just tell me because I'm the only one that had band shirts, And so I was the kid in elementary school that had like a Pantera shirt or a Marilyn Manson shirt. And I got a credit early on a lot to a friend of mine, his mom's boyfriend, actually. We would hang out at his house all the time, and his mom's boyfriend was a huge metalhead, and he had this like super expensive old school stereo system, right? Back in the day when you could you had the record player on top of the 8-track on top of and then he had like the tall speakers and everything, and then eventually the CD player and everything. And so he would be blasting, and he's a bit of a drinker. he would have some drinks and he would just blast like White Zombie and Deftones and Pantera. And,
sounds like my kind of guy right there.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like in 7th grade or something, you know, or 6th grade, and fifth grade actually. And so I fell in love with it at that time. Because leading up to that, my dad liked music too, but he was listening to alternative. You know, he was listening to like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Nirvana and No Doubt and shit like that. And
also my kind of guy right there.
Yeah. So my first concert I ever went to, I was 11, and it was Red Hot Chili Peppers and the Toadies, and yeah, and Red Hot Chili Peppers was like my favorite band back then. They had just came out with One Hot Minute, and I was like, I loved it, and so that's what I was into. And then we started hanging out with my buddy, and his mom's boyfriend was blasting White Zombie and Pantera. Now that was like heavier. That was like a next level up, right? So we got into all of that, and it just sort of progressed from there. Like in middle school, it was what's heavier, and we were always trying to stay on the cusp of heaviness. So then it was like Fear Factory and System of a Down, and like even like 6 Feet Under and things like that. And then it morphed to like, there's this new band called Slipknot. Have you guys heard of them? And it was like,
wasn't that a great time to be alive though? I mean,
it was, man. We had a local CD store we went to, and there was this older guy that worked there. He always had a spiked mohawk. His name was Aaron. I remember him well. He was in a band, and us little shitheads would come in, and he'd be like, I got a new band for you guys, and we had never heard of them before, and it would always blow our mind. And literally, that's how we found Slipknot. It was like they just came out with that album, their very first album. He's like, check these guys out. It was like Vision of Disorder. It was Candiria. It was like all these bands, and that sort of morphed. That was morphed into like Chimera and Unearthed and.
Chimera, man. I used to love that band, dude.
Down to Chimera.
Unearthed too. Shit.
So it just kept morphing. Like we just kept looking for the heaviest shit. Under Oath. There was like that whole when the Christian metal became when there was a period of time when the Christian hardcore was like the heaviest shit around.
Bro, Christcore was fucking amazing though, dude. It was great. We were just talking about that the other day. It's like, man, you remember all the Christian bands? And then you, I don't know, I'm sure you remember. Remember the whole, they used to have the 3 X's for, what was it?
Straight Edge, man.
Straight Edge, yes.
Yeah.
And then Straight Edge was cool. It wasn't cool to me, but it was cool to me. I was out there drinking and smoking weed all the time. But not that I'm promoting it. Don't do that. But that was me, and I was like, but there were cool people. Like they were just like all fucking. It was a skinny jean era, which I wasn't a fan of either. Skinny jeans and the hair to the one eye.
Yep.
Yeah, but Christcore was pretty intense, man. It was good.
It was, and those were some of the heaviest bands at the time. So I just was always looking for the heaviest shit possible, and that's how we came to where we are today. And I like to think, I don't know if I was just talking to our drummer about this the other day. Like, is heavy subjective or objective? Like, I'm not too sure. What's heavy to me the absolute heaviest to someone else? It's probably close, but when I try to write our shit, like if you listen to the new album, that's what I feel is like super heavy. It's like, we need to have a breakdown, we need to have like a slam, but we also need to have these crazy grindy parts that are blast beats. It can't just be like one thing and that's it, and it needs to change all the time. I can't play on a riff for more than like 8 measures, and so I'm always trying to make what I think is the heaviest music possible to me.
And I heard you say before that now, like when you were younger, you were just playing, right? Because it was just fun, and you're just like, fuck it, we're just gonna play. And now you feel like it's a lot more technical. You've advanced in that way. Is that correct?
I think yes and no. It's weird because I definitely think more about song structure when I'm writing these days. It's like, all right, what are we going to do here? How are we going to make this different? How are we going to make it sound good still and on par with what's being released today? Like, I'm definitely more aware, I think, of what's being released and what we want to do. But I will say back in the day, I might have been... but I'm coming into another phase now. I used to be... Back in the day, we'd write, and as we were writing, I was starting to get a little more ambitious with the riffs and the technicality of the actual riffs I was playing. And more recently, we've dumbed it down a little bit. But now I'm sort of entering a phase again where I'm like, let me try and get a little more technical again and practice my guitar a little more and be a little bit better of a technical guitar player, you know. But I would say the writing process has changed drastically. Back in the day, we just jammed in person all the time. We had a lot of time. We didn't have kids or wives. We just had a standing band practice once or twice a week, every single week, if not a few nights a week. And we would just come in. I'd come in with riffs. I'd show them to our drummer at the time. He would just write some drums to them, and we'd go back and forth. And pretty much every time we practiced, there would be like, oh, hey, here's like 2 more riffs I thought of that could go along with those riffs. And we just constantly had slowly pumping out new songs all the time. And that was different back then too. It was like no one had the money to record all the time back then because recording was super expensive. You had to go to a studio to make it sound right, you know? And so we might have recorded like a 3-song EP, but then we go play a show and we're playing like all new songs no one's ever even heard before because they're not released anywhere, but we've written all these new songs, you know?
Fucking back in the day with the mixtapes, right? Hey, check out my mixtape.
Check this out.
Yeah.
But nowadays, with the technology, I do most of the writing myself in front of my computer. Like with
what software do you use? Which one that you feel is the best?
you know, I play out of a quad cortex, which a lot of people have changed over to. It's this just digital everything. It has everything inside of it. It's like a freaking iPad for your guitar, you know, and that hooks up easily to the laptop. And I just go into the free Reaper software. I just use Reaper, and I use that to record things. I use I use Easy Drummer to build drums for my ideas, and then I will then send those to our drummer. We'll go back and forth a little. He might write them a little differently. He might play them a little differently when we jam and stuff. But then we settle on what it's going to be, you know. But I'll come out of the gate with an idea. So yeah, it's more of a solo process, which I don't know is good or bad. My vision is being realized a little bit better, like what I want it to sound like, whereas before it was a little more collaborative, what the song ended up sounding like. I might show our old drummer, this is my idea, and I sound like an idiot mouthing the drums like, doo, 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 you know, and then he would write something completely different, and he'd just want to stick with that, and I'd sort of be like, all right, sure, that's fine too, and that's just how it would end up, and it would be this collaborative thing, you know.
I've always wondered with a lot of bands, like what's one song where after you made it and you were just like, fuck, that's a badass song, like you were just in love with it right away. Like what would be that song for you?
There's probably one on every release that we do that I find where I'm like, oh, that's the one on the release. And you're right, doesn't really stand out till it's been released and you've listened to it a handful of times and you've maybe played it a handful of times. You're like, oh, all right. So we just released a 7-songer, and I would say on that one, that's for me. It's called "Here Comes the Meat Wagon." It's the second song on it. It has everything in it. It's like super varied. It hits all like the notes that you want it to hit with the crowd. So there's that one, and then on the previous release, a Capadora that you brought up, I think it is a Commodore, the track that we did the video for with the kids, and that's why we chose to do the video with it. And that one's it's the most all over the place, which is what I like the best. But we've changed it slightly from that EP to the newest release. If you take a listen, we've updated the sound just a little bit, and I think we're going to try to do another 4 songs before the end of the year, and we'll probably update the sound just a little bit more, ever so slightly, on that one as well to incorporate. I'm inspired by these deathcore revival kid bands, and so I'm like, I'm going to incorporate some of that.
I want some of that now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to incorporate some of that too, you know. So,
well, that Capadora, I mean, that breakdown is brutal, and then you just get into that blast beat, and it's just like, oh, that's why I put that little promo if anybody had questions, and I put that little part, and I was like, God, that part's so sick, bro. But I could just imagine the pit just fucking.
They go wild on that.
Yeah, getting wild on that shit. Yeah.
They do go wild.
Coming alive.
Yeah.
Nice. And so go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say they do. There's definitely the crowds these days. At least this last run we did, the young kids that are all out for the deathcore. They love the breakdowns, and the more the better.
Yeah.
If we blast for too long in front of some of those types of crowds, they get bored, I think. But then you have other crowds that love it. So, you know, you do a little bit of both.
Yeah, for sure. Just incorporate as much as you can of of all that just to hype the crowd up for sure. That's great, man. Because I always wonder with the band, like, what's that one song like that where you're like, holy shit, like that was good. Like, damn, we're gonna bust that shit out real quick. But what's your favorite song to play before I let you go? What would be your favorite song to play? I know it's a hard question.
It depends on the crowd, honestly, but I would still probably stick with that "Here Comes the Meat Wagon" recently, and we've only had that song for a year now, and so it's my favorite song right now to play. But it's changed all throughout the years. I will say, this last run we did, we had the set all laid out. And then we just had an encore song, like in case we had to play an extra song any night. It was like, oh, if someone's demanding another song or they give us a little more time, like we'll have this add-on song. And for that, on this run, we designated that She Walks the Woods was that song, which we have other video for. That's probably the more popular video. And that's an older one. It's not my favorite to play historically because there's not a lot to it. It's super basic. It's like very breakdown, fast part, breakdown, fast part. Like, it's just feels robotic. I don't know. But we were reading the crowd, and these kids were just going nuts over these breakdowns. Like, and that song has the exact correct breakdowns, one right after another. And so, partway through the run, we're like, this needs to flip flop, and this song needs to be in the set, no matter what. And we got to just leave it in. And so for the last handful of dates, that was one of my favorite ones to play. I was like, oh, these kids are going to love this song. Here it comes.
And it did well? Killed?
Yeah, it did well.
Nice.
It did well.
So we can expect more music, you said, from you at the end of the year? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, which is not typical, man. I mean, I'm slow writing and releasing music, and we just released that one at the end of April. But I think we got a fire lit up under us at this moment, and I think we're going to get another 4 songs in by the end of the year with the help of our drummer. And we've been playing a lot of shows lately. We want to play more. We haven't really always been in that headspace. I think right at this very moment is the most active you're going to see us for a while, and we'll see how it goes. And if it keeps going well, we'll keep pushing, and if it doesn't really go anywhere, we might be like, all right, we're 40 and we have kids, and maybe we should hang. I don't know if we'll ever hang it up, but maybe we should just not really play shows, and we'll release something every now and then, you know.
Well, yeah, I hope you don't hang it up. I hope you continue to keep going. You coming for the juggler on this next one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. Bring that shit.
Always, man, always.
Well, that's great, man. Any last things you want to say, or where can people find your band on all the platforms?
Just
what do you have it on there?
all the platforms at Pulsite at the Flamingo, Pulsite at theflamingo.com. We're going to be doing some merch drops there too. We have some leftover tour shirts there. It's pretty slim, but that's another thing that we're focusing on is you can all from now on, and this hasn't always been. We usually have high quality, good merch, but from now on, we're just like. We're printing on the best shit. We're doing jumbo prints. We're seeking out the best kind of shit. So if you want some high quality merch, hit up poolsideflamingo.com. We'll be doing some drops there over the next few months here before the end of the year.
All right, I definitely will get one of those. Hopefully, if I could, we'll talk later and get something signed. We'll pay a little extra.
Oh, but no extra needed, man.
We'll definitely get one of those. Me and my boy here. But thank you so much for coming on, brother, and I hope you continue to fucking keep busting out that badass music that y'all been doing for many years, 20 plus fucking years, man. Is it 20?
Years, no,
that's crazy. That's a marriage.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I think we're gonna 20-year anniversary next year of our original album, so we're gonna. Although we've been jamming longer than that, but we might do a re-release. We'll see. We might have something in store.
Yeah, dude, definitely let us know. And if you come to Texas, man, let us know because we definitely will. Drinks will be on us. We'll have a good time for sure. But thank you so much. Poolside at the Flamingo, good band. Go check them out. And thank you so much, Danny. And hopefully next time we'll meet up and have a drink together and talk some bullshit, talk some music.
Heck yeah, man! Thanks for having me.
Thank you, brother.